Hey guys, this is Ravenclaw What If. Welcome back to another What If story. Well, this is a redo of a current series I made prior, a little while ago. I didn't like how the story was going, so I decided to do a redo. If you've been keeping track of my community tab. So, I ultimately decided not to give her quirk, because she's going to have powers regardless, so she really doesn't need it. So, let's get onto this story. As you see a man sitting on a chair in a dusty laboratory. The man has black hair with crimson red eyes, wearing some sort of lab coat. Hisashi was thinking back during his time being one of Poison Ivy's little pets under her mind control with her pheromones. Unlike the majority of people that were under her control, when they got free, they were horrified that they were under Poison Ivy's control and what actions they took under her control. Hasashi's thought on the matter was totally different. Unlike most men, he enjoyed his time under Poison Ivy's pheromones. After he was free, he soon became obsessed with Poison Ivy and everything she did, every heist she was a part of, every 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 team up she was involved in, every time she was captured by Batman. He journaled every aspect of her life, every opponent she fought. He was totally obsessed. Total absorbed into his obsession over this woman. Unfortunately, Hasashi's obsession, dedication for for Poison Ivy, wasn't looked upon very healthy. Even when Poison Ivy went to her past victims to apologize for her actions, when she turned her life around, she was disturbed by the man's behavior. Outside of apologizing to him, she didn't want nothing to do with him. She could tell straight off the bat that he was very obsessed over her, and she did not like how. Sorry, give me a second here, guys. She didn't like it one bit. Hasashi didn't take it very well. His next action he took was very extreme to a normal, sane person, but to him it was a logical conclusion. He would create a child using his DNA in Poison Ivy, making a better version of Poison Ivy by manipulating the genome of the child. Poison Ivy, in his logic, she would have no choice but to accept him, and that would prove to her that she was wrong. Of course, Asashi won't see the child as his daughter. He would see the child as only a thing to get what he truly wants, as he truly wants this Poison Ivy herself. He's simply only using the child to get what he wants, like I said. He spent a fortune acquiring her DNA and a couple strands of her hair. In his eyes and his twisted logic, he thinks Poison Ivy and him are meant for each other. When he gets what he wants, he'll simply dispose of the child later on. With the DNA samples, it was a simple task. It was a simple task to create an artificial human, but using his DNA and Poison Ivy's DNA proved to be a challenge to get the correct sequence. But unknowns to Asashi, people are manipulating things in the shadows. As a black portal opens up in the middle of the lab while Hasashi was out getting supplies. As they simply took Hasashi's blood and replaced it with a vial from an unknown donor. as they placed some sort of flash drive into his computer, contaminating all the machines in the laboratory. As the shadow figure would disappear in the night. 3 years later, he was finally successful. The day Izumi was born, she was placed in a garden dome structure. She rarely saw her father. The only time she saw her so-called father was during his so-called combat experiments with the local homeless population. By the age of six, sorry, by the age of 6, she has collected quite a body count. The only positive affection she ever got was from her plants. She created and raised from sprouts. No matter what she did or how she did it, it was never good enough for her father. He would always compare her to poison ivy. She didn't understand why or who this sorry, who she was. She only wanted to make her father proud, but unfortunately for her, no matter what she did, she would never get his approval. Every time, sorry, every time she would refer him as father, he would backhand her several times, telling her to never call him that. He made it perfectly clear that he would never see her as his daughter. Only a thing, she is only a thing to be used and tossed aside when its usefulness is no longer needed. This sort of relationship morphed her mind into a very serious, unforgiving girl. That kind girl she was once was beaten out of her and replaced with nothing but hatred in her heart. Even the affects towards her father begins to change into pure malice. When give me a second. She was once desperate to get his approval, but it was replaced with desire to kill him. So she used her time in the garden that she called home to get a grip of her abilities that she got from her mother. There was a clear difference between daughter and mother when it comes to their plants. Izumi plants were a lot more aggressive and act more like predators. Its behavior reflects that. But Asashi made a grave error threatening her plants during one of his rants at Izumi. You stupid thing, why can't you do anything right? If you don't do it right this time, I'll burn all your plants. You hear me, you stupid bitch? As the young girl staring down, with her hair covering her face, she has one of her hands against one of her, well, against her red cheek from being struck. When I say, sorry, when I say you kill, you stupid bitch. Why can't you do the simplest task, you waste of space? I created you for one purpose, and you can't even fucking do that. You are a monster, nothing else. I don't know where you got that thought in your head that you matter. You don't. Now, kill them. Izumi turned her head up to look at the scared mother and child. Apparently, Sashi didn't bring her homeless people this time around. He would normally bring any of the homeless population for her to kill. He brought some innocent civilians that were in the wrong place at the wrong time. The woman has her child in her arms in a protective stance, begging for her child's life. Clearly, Izumi can tell that the woman only worried about her child, not her own life. I had enough. I should have done this a long time ago, human. Hasashi was intrigued by her comment as he raised one of his eyebrows up. And what would that be? All I ever wanted was you to love me and be proud of me, but I know that will never happen. But there's only one thing that you taught me that I took to heart: to eliminate all weaknesses, and clearly, Father, you're my only weakness. Like you said, weakness must be removed permanently. Before Asashi could reply, black vines burst out of the ground and wrapped the man in a dead tight grip as a black Venus flytrap emerged from the ground. This Venus flytrap is pure black with jagged teeth in its mouth. Goodbye, Father, and good riddance. As the vines loosen, as the man drops into the Venus flytrap, as the mouth closes, as blood splatter everywhere. The only reason you are not dead, humans, is because you truly love your child. From your actions, tells that. I could tell from your actions, basically. So I'll allow you to leave this one time. If you return here, I will kill you. Do we understand each other, human? As the woman nods and picks up her child and run out the front door, or the door of the garden, Izumi brain's a lot more. Sorry, Izumi brain is a lot more mature and developed for a 6-year-old girl. She can. Oh, sorry. She can comprehend things that a 6-year-old will normally wouldn't be able to understand. For the first time ever, she stepped out of the dome garden as the sun blinds her for a couple seconds from the sun rays. When her vision finally became clear, she sees a vast forest as she sees small animals going about their daily lives, birds chirping, woodpeckers are pecking on trees, squirrels are stocking up food for the winter. She never went she never witnessed such creatures. None of the animals feel threatened by her. In truth, they were quite friendly towards her. Even the deers would approach her and allow her to pet them on the head. At first, she was suspicious, but after they got close enough for her to touch, she noticed they had no ill intentions. They were simply curious. In the first time in a long while, she has a genuine smile on her face. She has no idea where she's at. She decided to explore a little bit. In truth, she was somewhere in the vast forest in Germany, miles away from any civilization. As she finally came across a small road, the small girl, wearing only a simple white dress with no shoes, as her red hair waved around in the wind, walking down the road. As a truck did stop seeing the girl walk on the street, Izumi can tell right away these these are not good men. When the men approach her, she produced a pheromone gas by instinct. When the men inhaled the pheromone gas, they were completely under her control. At first, she was shocked. Then she decided to test it out, as she would ask the men to do simple tasks. She came to the realization whatever she did, it might be some sort of mind control, like their wills were no longer theirs. So she ordered them to take her to the nearest town. 30 minutes later, they arrive at a small village as Izumi begins experimenting on her mind control from person to person until the whole population of 200 people became under her direct control. Because of her father's tampering with her genetic code, the effects of her mind control doesn't wear off. The only way someone can get free from her mind control is she frees them herself or she gets knocked unconscious. But she's unaware of that at this current time. She's still discovering her powers. It might have took her a little bit, but she had the entire village under her control. She realized real fast the people under her control completely idolize her, like she was some sort of god. They would bring her offerings at the town hall that she turned into her own home. As her plants, as the plant life took over the whole village, as long as the people are under her control, the plants won't attack them, but any outsiders are killed immediately. Surprisingly, she was quite enjoying herself. In truth, she just wants love, any affection, even though it's forced. Even though it's forced. Each day she spent with several families in some sort of twisted play of house, acting like they were her parents, even going as far as tucking her in at night and reading her a bedtime story, completing the whole facade of being the perfect little family. She she made sure to let the people of the town continue their daily lives and their daily activities so the other towns in the nearby or any of the nearby towns won't get sus- suspicious. But unfortunately there were too many deaths near the town, so the government did take notice. They sent several of their soldiers to investigate the area, but we never heard from again. The soldiers that did survive were immediately went under her control. So the government of Germany was forced to ask assistance from the Justice League. The ones that did survive and did not fall under her mind control did relay information about the small town, about the plants and the lone little girl that was cause of the incident. As we cut to the Justice League Hall, as most of the members, sorry, as most of the senior members of the Justice League are in a meeting, the ones who were free to attend the meeting. Senior members that are in attendance of the meeting because of Batman, because of Batman bringing Poison Ivy, they were all on edge. Even though Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn are no longer villains, they're more like anti-heroes. Well, mostly Harley Quinn is most like an anti-hero than Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy mostly keeps herself spending time with her plants and Harley Quinn. After all, they are been together for about 3 years now. Batman, what's going on? And why are Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn here? We'll get to that, Superman. Now, everyone, these are the images that was sent to me by the government of Germany. Several images are displayed on the screen of the town and what few pictures they took of the girl. According to what I've been told, the entire town has been taken over and I expect she is responsible. As everyone looks at the picture of the red hair little girl, we don't know how she's doing it. Apparently the plant life that's overtaken the town is very aggressive to any outsiders that entered the town. I was able to get Poison Ivy assistance in this considering abilities how her abilities work. They'll need her assistance in this. According to what information I gathered, the town seemed to be under her control. Don't know what means she used to use. Anyone that's not outright killed by the plants are placed under some sort of mind control. According to the reports of the survivors that wasn't placed under it. Are you telling me that Sorry, give me a second here, guys. Are you telling me, Batman, this little girl is responsible for enslaving the entire town? Yes. We don't know how much free will they have. We don't know what her objections are. If we allow things to continue, the whole country could be under her control in a few years. Hey, Red, after looking at that girl more closely, she resembles you a little bit. Poison Ivy doesn't respond. She seems to be deep in thought. Do you have any ideas who the girl is, Batman? No, we have no prior information about the girl. I've been looking through the records, and I have found nothing. Don't worry, Bats. I'll do my part. But I do want to have a conversation with the girl. By the off chance, she has a similar ability sorry. By the off chance she has a similar abilities like me, I would like to talk to her. The last thing I want to do is hurt a child. Agreed. What about the rest of you? Follow your lead, Batman. Same here. Alright, everyone. Let's take a trip to Germany. Ooh, road trip. I'll make myself clear, Harleen. No killing. I'm hurt. I would never do such a thing. Well, anymore. I've been a good girl. Cheer up. We're gonna make such a good team, Bats. I'm already regretting this. Go team. As we cut back to Izumi, in the city hall, sitting on her little throne, kicking her feet back and forth, humming to herself. Several Venus flytraps burst out of the ground, breaking the wooden floor. What news did you bring me, precious? Ah, I see. We have unexpected visitors. Very well. All right, everyone. You know what to do. As everyone under her mind control leaves the town hall to engage the Justice League that just arrived, the, the peaceful quiet she quite enjoyed was interrupted by the sound of battle. She heard several gunfires, as she could hear a couple of loud explosions. Afterwards, she heard sounds of tanks. She was able to acquire some of these tanks from the military that would enter her town. Superman's flying through the sky using his heat ray to destroy the guns and the barrels of the tanks. The Justice League was able to subdue the mind control citizens with little effort. Poison Ivy was shocked that she has no control over these black plants. She tried to command them. They attacked her in kind from the attempt. And her plants are terrified of these black plants. As the Justice League hears footsteps coming from the town hall, oh dear, they're not being very nice. Let's change that, shall we? Surrender peacefully, you won't be harmed. Let me think on that. She put a finger under her chin in a thinking posture or pose. How about no? As a barrage of black vines shoot out of the ground, making the Justice League try to get some distance from her, A simple snap of her finger, rock plant, oh sorry, rock plant, or plant like rock golems pop out of the ground. Kill them. Ooh, I like her. She has spunk. As she strikes one of the golems with her mallet, as Quinn watches the golems crumble and reassembles. Oh dear, this is going to be a pain. The moment Superman tried to engage one of the golems, several black vines wrapped around Superman and tossed him into a car as the car exploded from the impact. Ooh, pretty. As Izumi begins to giggle from the fireworks, Poison Ivy noticed the girl's personality does switch between cheerful, playful, into a serious, deadly tone. As several vines surround Izumi, as the black vines shoot out black thorns at the Justice League, Poison Ivy used her own plants to shield her in the Justice League from the attack, from the upcoming attack. Poison Ivy has a sudden urge to scold the girl from misbehaving. She begins lecturing her, trying to harm people with her plants. Not only Izumi was surprised being scolded by this woman, but the whole Justice League as well. She didn't know she didn't know what came over her. She just felt that she had to correct her bad behavior. It like it was her responsibility. She clearly she clearly saw the girl's expression by the look of her. She's not very pleased being yelled at. The moment Izumi heard the blonde woman with the mallet called the red hair woman Ivy, she immediately start getting flashbacks of her father constantly trying to compare her to Poison Ivy, how she was a pathetic imitation of her. She would never measure up to Poison Ivy's greatness. Her, sorry, as she continues hearing her father's words in her head, as she begins physically getting angry, as vines popped out of the ground underneath Izumi. As she hasn't been called Izumi yet, but that'll come later. As the vines pop out of the ground underneath her, lifting the girl up, like standing. Sorry, give me a second, guys. She's standing on the vines, hovering over them like they were beneath her. So, you're the Poison Ivy bitch. I will prove that bastard of a father. You are nothing. We are nothing alike. I simply need to get rid of you to prove that bastard I'm better than you. As several humongous black Venus flytraps burst out of the ground with a whole horde of black vines attacking everyone. As the vine went to swipe Poison Ivy, by doing so it would cut her in half. Dodged out of the way. The vines cut through the car, making the car into a convertible. I'll be damned. She looks very pissed. Red, I don't know why she got so upset after hearing your name. It seems like the bat's plan is working, though. The girl seemed to be getting tired. He was right. She's not used to her abilities. Agreed. Her abilities are exactly like mine. That's troubling. But she's not experienced with it as I am. We just need to push her a little more. Then she'll pass out from strain. Controlling the green is not an easy feat. Izumi was having trouble standing on her feet. She was wobbling as her vision starts to blur. The moment she tried to plunge a vine through Ivy's chest, Her body gave out as she fell down on the vines, as it slowly descends to place the girl gently on the ground. At the moment she lost consciousness, the hold on the town she had was broken, as everyone that was under mind control was finally free. As the vine gently, like I said, set her down, not to hurt her any in any way. Before Poison Ivy and the Justice League could approach the unconscious girl, a black portal appears out of nowhere between them and the girl. As a man walks out with another man wearing suits. One of them has some sort of black helmet. Everyone could feel the ominous feeling coming off the man, and behind him was a man with a black suit. Like his face was covered with black smoke substance. As everyone hears the man clap, my, what an impressive girl. I was right to keep an eye on that Asashi. Clearly the man was short-sighted to see the potential in this young one. I can never forget that name. What does that bastard have to do with this? Bastard, you say? Had to do with this. I suppose you would know of him more than anyone else. Miss Ivy. What sort of connection does that girl have with that man? I would love to tell you, but I'll leave that up for you to find out. I bet the bats over there have a few ideas, don't you, Bruce? Who the hell are you? How do you know that name? As Batman demands, he wants answers. I know so many things, Batman, but I'll be taking the girl now. I don't think so. As Poison Ivy was about to attack, everyone gets tossed through the air, as All for One used a wind cork to blast everyone away from the sleeping girl. All for One gently picked up the girl in his arms. It's such a pity that the man didn't treat the girl very well. If I knew he wouldn't treat her well, I would have killed him myself. If he simply only showed her the proper affection, she would have been extremely loyal to him, but no matter. No need to worry over spilt milk. It's very sad, really. The girl only wanted to be loved. This precious flower needs to be nurtured and guided the right way. Only a father would be able to do that. Superman had enough. As he rushed forward, as Kirigiri opened a portal in front of Superman before he could attack his master, as Superman appears in another country. Let's go back. We have what we came for. Until we meet again, heroes. Poison Ivy struggles to her feet. She rushed forward, tried to stop the man from taking the girl. The moment they disappeared into the portal, something in her heart broke. It felt like this man took something very precious to her, but she doesn't understand why she feels that way. She only just met the girl today. As All for One reappeared in the house, somewhere in the wilderness, the location is unknown. As she was placed, as he placed the young girl on the bed, Kirigiri, look after this young one. As you command, master. This girl is very important. After all, she is my daughter. Fool thought he was using his own DNA when he created her. It was a simple task to replace his DNA with mine, and in manipulating his machines to think he was using his own DNA. Have pleasant dreams, my delicate flower. A few days has passed. Her body is going through her recovery phase. Her body wasn't used to using the green to that extent for the first time. She was completely exhausted. When she finally woke up, she saw a strange man with a smoke for a head staring at her. She didn't feel any hostility towards her. She That's the only reason she didn't outright attack him. Hello, young mistress. I am Kirigiri. My master has ordered me to look after you while he's away. She tilted her head, looking at the strange man in front of her. Her inner thoughts. She While she was in her inner thoughts, she was interrupted by growling from her stomach. She got embarrassed from her hunger. Her so-called father, who she thought was her father, would always feed her some sort of paste substance. She never knew what it was, but the only food that he provided her. She didn't really eat anything else while she was in that town. She was too occupied having fun to think of about food. Oh, about food much. Sorry, give me a second here, guys. Please follow me, young mistress. I'll make you something to eat. As she followed the smoke man, she's very curious. She might not feel any hostility from the man, but she's not going to trust him. The young girl sat at the kitchen table, observing Kirigiri with a curious look on her face while he's making her some food. 20 minutes later, he placed pancakes in front of her. She looked at the food with a curious look. She's never seen anything like this before. You don't need to worry, young mistress. It's not poison, if that's what you're worried about. She finally spoke up. Even if it was poison, it would have no effect on me. I'm immune to all poison and all diseases. I've just never seen anything like this before. What is this? What is this gooey stuff? It's called pancakes, and the gooey stuff, as you say, it's butter. Oh, I can't forget the best part. As he sat down a jar filled with syrup. What's this? Syrup you pour on top of the pancakes, young mistress. Like this. As he poured a little bit of syrup on the pancakes, as he placed a fork in front of her, as she was suspicious to take the utensil, as she cautiously cut a piece out by using her fork and placed it in her mouth. As her eyes widened, as she found it very delicious, she immediately began digging into the pancakes. As she stuck out the empty plate to the smoke man. More, please. Of course. As he begins to place more pancakes on her plate. Where am I, anyways? What happened to the people I was fighting? You don't need to worry. You're safe here. The master rescued you, and the people that you were engaging have no idea where you at. You're safe here. Okay. May I ask what? Okay. May I ask why your master rescued me and what does he want with me? I'm afraid I'm unable to say. Master will reveal that when he arrives. When is your master supposed to return? In a couple days. Until then, young mistress, I'll be looking after you. Are you done eating? Yes, I'm finished. Master informed me you are quite fond of nature. Would you like to take a stroll with me? Izumi walked up to Kirigiri and grabbed onto his finger with her hand as they both walk out of the house and take a stroll in the small forest surrounding the property. After taking a stroll, Izumi started to yawn as Kirigiri picked her up in his arms and made his way back into the house and placed her in the bed and shut the door to one of the rooms that he placed her in and began to do chores around the house to make it nice and tidy. He wanted to get the house in proper order before his master returns. Izumi spent the next couple days with this strange man that goes by Kirigiri. She noticed he never eats or sleeps, so she came to the conclusion that he wasn't human. Surprisingly, that put her at ease a little bit. That person that Kirigiri calls master arrived at the secluded house in the wilderness with a woman with black hair in some sort of armor that resembles a little bit of the armor that Wonder Woman was wearing when she encountered her in the village in Germany. The moment she present herself to this master, several black vines shoot through the windows, wrapping around everyone except Kirigiri. As All For One didn't notice that, as All For One, oh, I fucked that up majorly. No one did notice because he's wearing a mask, but he had a smile on his face. Not a creepy smile like he normally would have, but a gentle one. What do you want with me? What is your motivation for saving me, human? Kirigiri has told me you rescued me from the Justice League, but he refused to tell me why. If I don't like your answer, I'll crush you. The black vines tighten, making the two of them a little bit uncomfortable with how tight the vines are. The woman was completely silent. She could easily get out of this, but she was curious. She was curious what's going on. She was only told to come with All For One. That's all he gave her. And she still owed him a debt. I would be more than willing to give you the answer why I rescued you, dear. I've been keeping an eye on you, my child. You impressed me. But I've been fully aware how you've been treated, my dear. I won't dare speak the man's name. I was very furious how you were treated. I originally was going to kill that man much sooner. After thinking on it for a little bit, I came to the conclusion I would not cheat you when it came to that man. After all, you deserve to end him personally. After all the mistreatment he gave you. And when I heard you took over the whole town in Germany, let's just say you impressed me even further. And the reason why I rescue you is because I see great potential in you, young one. I want to help you. I want to help you and nurture you and guide you to your full potential, little flower. She completely ignored the nickname. She gently set the two of them on the ground, loosening the vines, but the vines are still around them a good amount of tightness. She doesn't want to, sorry, give me a second here. Vines are still around them, but not as tight. Knowing them, she's willing to listen. She doesn't want to give up the upper hand. And All For One knew that. He was extremely proud of her actions. All For One decided not to reveal her origins, not just yet. He does plan to reveal to her that, but the time isn't right. He has no desire to involve his daughter in the League of Villains in Japan. Even if he did, the girl is far too young. He won't deny her if that's what she wants. If she wants to join, it will be her choice only. Unlike her old caretaker, she will give her the choice to make her own decisions. All for one want to make sure she's happy. Oh, sorry. Make sure she's safe and happy. Despite being the number one villain in Japan, he does care about his children. It doesn't matter if they're biologically his children or adopted, but he doesn't want to introduce his daughter to his adopted son. Not just yet. He still needs some work. He has a desire to pass on his quirk to his daughter. She's something special. He's manipulated many things in the background to make the creation of his daughter possible. Even Poison Ivy and Asashi's first meeting was his handiwork. But he did not expect the man to be so obsessive over the woman. But that does. Sorry, give me a second here. That did make his plans a lot more interesting. It was no hindrance into his future plans. Ultimately, he was okay with it for the time being. The fact that he swooped out of the fact that he swapped out Asashi's blood with his own without him knowing. He truly enjoyed tricking that man, thinking he was using his own blood to create the girl and sabotaging his equipment. So Asashi was thinking he was using his own blood. He quite enjoyed manipulating that fool. I know you just wanted a family. I could provide you with that. The vine slowly unwrapped the two of them as they returned through the window. I'm listening. Let me introduce myself, my dear. I am All for One, and this one behind me is one of my associates of mine. Why don't you go in the kitchen and have Kirigiri make you some pancakes? According to what Kirigiri has told me, you're quite fond of them. Azumi has a bright smile on her face as she begins skipping towards the kitchen. She doesn't know what his true purpose is, or his motivations, or his intentions, but he's able to give her what she wants. She's always wanted her own family, like everyone else. She could always eliminate him if he tries anything. She just sat at the kitchen table, waiting patiently for her pancakes to be made. What a very interesting girl, so why am I here? All for One. What do you want? I have a special task for you. If you do this, if you do this, your debt to me is cleared. Fine, I'll do this. Fine, I'll do it. I don't want to see your face again afterwards. That could be arranged. He actually thought her comment was quite humorous because he's missing half his face, but he kept that little fact to himself. Fine. What is this task? What do you want me to do? Who do you want dead? This time around, I don't want anyone dead. I want the complete opposite in fact. She has an annoyed expression on her face. She knows he's dragging it out. She assumes he likes to hear his own. Sorry. She assumes this guy likes to hear himself talk. This arrogance of his has always gotten under her skin. Despite having no love for the man, he did rescue her for a price. She hated the fact that she had no choice but to accept his offer or die. She was sent on many missions for the League, mostly killing someone. She didn't really care who it was as long as they were male. She doesn't kill innocent women. Now you caught my interest. You normally have me killing some. You have me killing people. Yes, I have. And your work on that been very impressive. The last mission I ever will have you do is protect the girl. I want you to protect her and train her. Wait, so you brought me here to protect this girl? Don't get me wrong, I'll gladly do, but why? What's your scheme in this? And if I don't like your answer, I'll strike you down and take the girl anyways. I knew choosing you was the right choice. You Amazons are well known for your prowess. Simple, I just want you to make my daughter stronger. Wait, daughter? You didn't hear me wrong. That delicate flower is my biological daughter. My dear daughter doesn't know that I'm her father yet. I will reveal that in time. If you reveal that to her, I'll kill you. In your little Amazon island. Sorry, give me a second here. Your little refuge, your little island, I'll wipe them out. And my fury won't stop there. The ones who do survive, I'll use them, I'll capture them, and use them to make new Nomus. And when they serve their purpose, I'll dispose of them. As Donna has her right fist clench, as she has so much pressure in her fist, as blood starts to drip from her hand. Understood. Good. But the Justice League do know of her existence. To the certain at least to a certain point. Keep her away from that little island of yours. Outside of that, you can take her anywhere. I'll have I'll have someone come by from time to time to check up on my daughter and how she's doing. Fine. I'll take the girl, but I will train her my way. I will train her in the ways of the Amazon. I'll leave the girl's training up to you. What's her name, anyways? Kirigiri, bring the girl in the living room. Yes, master. Girl in question just finished up her pancakes and walked with Kirigiri holding onto his finger into the into the living room. As all for one been down to her eye level. Did you enjoy your breakfast? Sorry. Did you enjoy your breakfast, little flower? Little flower? As she's giving all for one a confused expression. She's heard him call her that a few times. Let's just say it's a little nickname I decided to give you. But speaking of names, it would be appropriate for you to finally get one. Is there any names you would like to take? Little flower? She put a finger under her chin in a thinking pose. She has no idea what name she should take. All for one finally spoke up after a few moments of silence. How about how about Izumi? Do you like it? Izumi. As she's constantly repeating that name. I like it. Good. From today on forward, you shall be Izumi. Before I forget, Miss Donna. Oh, sorry. Before I forget, Miss Dunn over there will be taking care of you in my stead. She'll be looking after you and helping you in training, considering how you're fairly new to your abilities. Allow I will allow you to get better acquainted with each other. I need to talk to Care Gary. Then afterwards, I'll open a portal anywhere in the world where you want to go to live. Please excuse me. As Izumi watches All for One walk in to another room with Care Gary, it seems it seems me and you are going to be spending a lot of time with each other, Izumi. I'm Donna Choi. It's a pleasure to finally officially meet you, my new little sister. Judging from that smile on your face, you have no problem with it. Nope, I've always wanted a big sister. Mr. Alphonse said that I'll be living with you, so where do you live? I have a nice little house outside of the city limits of Gotham City. I have a sinking feeling you're gonna love it there. I have a decent sized greenhouse that hasn't been used yet. Really? I love greenhouses. I love everything that has to do with nature. Then you're definitely gonna like it. As she smiles warmly at the girl. Months later, All for One did come back in. So have you decided where you want to be sent? Just just open the portal to my house. You know where it is. Oh yes, I remember. A lovely home. And a good amount of nature around. As the portal opens up in the middle of the room, as All for One waves goodbye to his daughter, Izumi did the same while she was holding on to Donna's hand as they both enter the portal and disappear. As the portal opens up in the middle of the house, they both step out of the portal, the black portal. As the portal disappears in the seconds afterwards, Donna knows not a lot of people would come looking for her here. Not even Diana knows where she lives. She doesn't want to. She doesn't want to kill Diana anymore, but they're nowhere near friends. Her enemies don't know where she lives. At least the ones that survive her wrath. She was for. Give me a second here, guys. She was reluctant to live in the world of men when she was banished, but she quite enjoyed her little home in the wilderness near Gotham City. She showed her excited new charge around the house and ended the tour at the greenhouse. The greenhouse was decent size. After getting the girl's reaction, she could tell the girl loved it. Like she can't get wait to like her expression on her face is like she can't wait to get to work, filling the greenhouse with her plants. Donna told Izumi to get settled in her new room on the second floor of the house. As the sun was about to set, as she decided to make dinner for the both of them while she was getting adjusted to her new room, she allowed her to get used to her living with her for the next few weeks. Then when she's finally adjusted to her new living situation, she would begin her training in the ways of the Amazon and her abilities. Izumi surprised her in her first training session. She had no idea the physical strength she has. So so she decided to test it out on a tree that's in the wilderness near the house. The moment Donna told her to strike the tree, the girl struck the tree, leaving a small crater in the tree trunk from the impact. She didn't pierce all the way through the tree, but it was quite impressive. But she was wrong to leave. Oh, God, wow. I had to make sure I got the right one. She didn't know if she's naturally strong because of her genetics or it's some sort of power she got from the green. She does expect that Izumi is related to Poison Ivy in some way, but she's not totally sure. All for One never mentioned the girl's mother. She had a hard time finding the perfect weapon for her training. She tried different weapons, swords, different type of swords, and different type of melee weapons. Until she found out about the girl was able to make some sort of black vine out of a make black vines into a whip that can produce black thorns to shoot at people at long range when the range of the whip is can't reach them. So she trained her in the arts of the whip and hand-to-hand combat. When it came to the hand-to-hand combat, at first it was hard for her, but she's a pretty fast learner. But when it came to her whip training, that was a total different story. She was a natural when it comes to using a whip. She could either capture or maim her opponent with her whip that she creates with her plants. Not only did she train her in combat training, she also nurtured her intelligence. Amazon warriors should be strong in battle and strong. Sorry, give me. I can't pronounce that. Strong in the ways of the mind. Education is very important for an Amazon warrior. The time she spent with Izumi was the happiest in her life. She truly came to care about the girl, but she sees signs in the girl personality that hides something sinister. She could see it in her eyes every time they would have a conversation that accidentally landed on the subject of humankind. Donna could tell she doesn't outright hate humankind, but if it ever came between nature and if it came between her nature and humankind, she would always choose plant life over humanity. So she tried to guide her the best she could into the right path. She doesn't she doesn't totally become a monster, especially how she is the daughter of the number one villain in Japan. She knows many people will see her as the daughter of evil, considering the many titles the man holds. Izumi has finally turned 14. Izumi is sitting on a humongous black flower in the greenhouse reading a book. Happy birthday, little flower. Hi, big sis, Donna. Why don't you come down? Why don't you come down and come inside? We need to talk. The black vines wrapped around Izumi's waist and lifted her up in the sky and sat her down gently on the ground. Gently let her go. Oh, sorry. What about, big sis? To what academy I'll be sending you. That again, I told you I really don't care about schooling or academy. I know you don't like the idea, but it's proper for a young lady to engage in normal school activities. Especially this school. This school is specifically picked by All for One. I don't think it's going to be as boring as you think. Fine. If the school is picked by Mr. All for One, I'll go. Good. Now, come on, let's get inside. Here, take a seat here. As they enter the living room, that she hands her a big yellow folder or envelope, basically. Apparently, all for one already filled out your application and sent it off to the academy. This is your assessment letter. Assessment, yeah. Very well. Let's see what's inside. Oh, this so-called academy I'll be attending. It's called Hive Academy. What type of school is this? That school is designed to train young villains. They are the mortal enemy of the Teen Titans. They never once success sorry, they never once been successful in that. But I gotta admit, I do admire their drive. That's where we're gonna cut it off right there. Hope you guys have a good night and day, judging my time zones, and I'll catch you in the next video.